Hey guys, it's Psychosis here, and once again I have another book review, and I finished reading another book, and that book is A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin, which is the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. And so today I'm gonna say my honest thoughts on it and review it. And yeah, like I said in the previous one, this is a very popular series, so most people watching this have probably already read this or have heard of it at least. Yeah, anyways, this is my first review after reading it for the first time and my thoughts. So, yeah. And so, starting off with, like the first book, it is very good and it kind of follows along the same structure. You got a ton of point of view characters for each chapter, there's a ton of different characters. Most of the book is structured with characters just talking to each other, plotting, scheming. Some bits of action. The bits of action are just wonderful. Perhaps even better than the first book. It feels like there's way more of it because this is a way bigger book. This book is 728 pages long, at least my copy is, so it's a bit larger than the first one. And the first one's really good, but I feel like maybe this one's actually better short stories short. I don't know, I cannot say that, but yeah, it's really good. It feels like there's much more at stake with the story of this book. There's way more action, like I said, and there's stakes are higher. Characters are more cutthroat. The bad characters, the villain characters, are way worse. Oh yeah, they're terrible. And George R. R. Martin, he somehow created a character that's even worse than the characters I already hated. I don't know how, but he did. And I cannot stand that character just because of how like cold and bad he was. And yeah, and so yeah, this the premise of this book is it takes place after the first. In the short, yeah, the premise of this book is it takes place after the first one, and so now there are four kings in the kingdom. Now you got Joffrey Lannister. He's like this 13-year-old kid. He becomes the king after the original king Robert Baratheon dies, and then you've got yeah, and then you got these two other brothers, Robert Baratheon's brothers, Renly Baratheon and Stannis Baratheon, and they both claim the kinship because technically, by the right, the throne is to them. Technically, Stannis has the better claim, but no one wants him as the head. But he wants it. He's like the stereotypical dictator type figure. He's like cold and he want hard. He's like cold like iron. He just wants the throne at any cost. And he follows this like weird lady who follows this like monotheistic religion about burning everything. It's kind of weird, kind of like a mockery Christianity, kind of not. It's its own thing. It's weird. Just the religion he follows. He follows this like lady priest and adopts their religion with like this fire heart. It's wild. And yeah, and then there's Renly, and then he wants the throne. Technically, he claims it, and everyone wants him to be the king because he'll be a better, nicer ruler that people like more. And then up north, Robb Stark, Eddard Stark's son, is named the King of the North. And I was rooting for him the entire time because, like I said, Eddard Stark was one of my favorite few characters in the first book. So his son is like way more likable to me. I'm like, let's go, come on. But he's a point of view character. He's mentioned a few times of his actions, like battles, but he's his own thing. He's not a point of view character though. And yeah, a lot of the point of view characters are still there from the first book. There's a few new ones though. It helps add a story. A few of them are villains. A lot of them are villains. There's a lot more scenes. This one character named Tyrion Lannister. He's not my favorite character, but he's like a little schemier type character. He really drove the story around. And yeah, so that's the story, and there's a lot of tension and stuff. And then everyone thinks this omen is theirs because there's this red column in the sky at the very beginning of the book, and everybody thinks that the omen is a good sign for their cause. And yeah, and then there's another character from the first book, and she's in the distant lands, and she has dragons. The dragons hatched for her at the end of the first book. Yeah, I forgot to mention at the end of the first book was amazing, but Yeah, so she has little baby dragons too, but her story is more of a side thing coming in the background, and I didn't really like her as much. Daenerys Targaryen, her name is. I wasn't as big of a fan of her as the other characters, and yeah. And after the events of the first book, yeah, everything just it's like a landslide of just momentum with the story, which is funny because it's a slower paced book and it's more character driven, dialogue based, but very good book so far. And as you can see, cool cover as well, my copy. And yeah, it's a lion because the Lannisters are more a driving force in this story. They're scheming and stuff. And yeah, they're just terrible. Like I said, there's a character that's even worse than the freaking Lannisters. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah. Yeah, it's a really good book. And yeah, with all the scheming and the kings going on, tensions are high, everybody's wanting something. Characters are all scattered, some of them, and they're each having their own thing to do. And yeah, and my favorite character is still Jon Snow, and his plot line is amazing though. It's really fun, but he's so sparsely mentioned in the book, like his point of view. So you have to read like a ton to get to his parts, but his part is great up because him and a bunch of the other Night's Watch they go up north beyond the wall into the cursed woods to like potentially do battle with the wildlings who are like the people tribal like wild people who live out in the woods. It's it's so good. Yeah, I'm trying not to spoil. I probably spoiled a lot, but it is really good. And yeah. And then the one character, yeah, there's one cool thing with the one character. He discovers something about himself, which is really cool. And it's also really goofy. Yeah, there's it leads to more magic. Like I said in the first book, there's not a lot of magic, but this book has way more of that. It feels like he was branching out. So if explaining more of the world, more people, more characters, there's also more mentions of like magic, more explanation, more scenes of magic. And the magic in this book series is wild. It's as soft magic with a magic system as you can get. There's like no rules to it at all. And it just seems so chaotic. And yeah, and all of like I said, and tensions are high in the book, and it ends with such an amazing battle scene. There's like this battle at King's Landing, the capital of the kingdom, Westeros, the world, and it is such a good battle. It is like so good. It's not the very end of the book, but it's like the climax of the story, and it's so good. Like he doesn't have a lot of battles or action scenes in this book so far, but when they arrive, they're just like top notch because it just feels so natural when it comes, and just the way he describes everything is just so good. His writing, it's just amazing. But yeah, so I really like this book, and I actually consider this book way better than the first one. Like the first one was just so good. This book even better. And yeah, I really liked it. And yeah, but of course, like the first book, there are some bad things with it. Of course, like I said, it's slower pace, which is good, which is fine. But sometimes there are a few parts that drag on. I did not like Daenerys Targaryen parts. Her parts, like in the first book, just dragged on. I was just like forcing myself to read through them because I just don't really care for her as much as the other characters, and I wanted to just get to the Jon Snow parts. And yeah, the book's longer, so some parts did drag a little bit, and also there's a lot more like screwed up things. There are a lot more mentions of like degenerate sexual stuff, mentions and scenes of like rape. It was kind of screwed up. I understand the context of the story, why it's in there, but it's rough reading stuff like that. But because his world is just dark and messy, so it makes sense why that's in there. But it's just yeah, like I said, not great for reading. It's really awkward to read. But yeah, and that's kind of the gist. The problems though, just that stuff. But that's just a core part of this book. At least it's more scattered too in this book, which is a little bit better. And it's not at least it's not like they didn't have that, like that one scene from the first book. So it's not the end of the world. That scene from the first book was just really bad. But yeah. Aside from that, though, I love the political drama and all the arcs and all that. It's amazing. This book is just really good. And yeah. And so, as a final rating, I'm going to give A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin a 9.5, 9.6 out of 10. It is an amazing book, way better than the first one, despite all the sexual crap in it. And it's really good. I'd highly recommend it. It's just top-notch fantasy in my opinion. The series so far is fantastic. I don't know why I was being a little contrarian about it and avoiding it in case it was bad, because I am enjoying it. And I'm hooked. I'm reading another book right now, which is way smaller than this, and I haven't even finished that book because I was so engrossed with this. There were days where I didn't even put this thing down. And I didn't want to put it down unless I was tired or bored or I had things to do. I just wanted to finish the book. It was so good. And I hope the series continues as good because I've heard good things about it, of course. I'm agreeing with people. And a lot of people say that the book after this is way better and probably the best book of the series. So I hope they're right. We will see. But yeah, that will be my review for A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin. 9.5, 9.6 out of 10. Very, very good book. Even better than the first one. The first one was very good. Top-notch story. Yeah. Very good. And that's all I have to really say about it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If there are any other requests for books you want me to review, just let me know in the comments below, I guess. And yeah, or if there's any music you want me to review. I haven't been reviewing much music lately or listened to a whole lot. I've just been reading. I've been enjoying it though. It's a blast. It feels good to read. Especially books I haven't read before that I really like or discover that I really enjoy. Because this series so far is seeming like top 5 series for me. It's just very good. But yeah, anyways, that's all I have. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.